I added a casino to my game, Broker Tycoon, because I wanted the money being earned to be spent right back in the game. I thought about which games are addictive and came to the following conclusion. For the no-brainers, I naturally built a blackjack table, a roulette table and a slot machine. But that still didn't seem like enough, so I added a Wheel of Fortune. However, one thing was still missing, and that's when Llama's brother had an idea. Horse racing. Basically just like in the GTA casino. Since it's 2026 and I'm a lazy piece of shit, that is why the AI built the systems. In the next section I'll show you how I connect Claude to Unreal Engine. If you're using a different engine or just aren't interested, feel free to skip to 1.11. Setting up Claude with Unreal Engine 5 is easy. Create a project, go into the project folder and click on the path. Open the CMD, type Claude, open your project, click on plugins and ensure that Unreal MCP is enabled. Enter Model Context Protocol start server into the command line at the bottom. Then go back to your terminal and type /mcp to check if Unreal is connected. First I create a skill in Claude. From these base meshes, this skill is simply code triggered by a command. And it directly covers the interaction types, namely 1D transition, 1D rotation and 6 degrees of freedom. I started out in Blender with a blackjack table. First I modeled it until I was satisfied. Then I assigned the materials and looked at what the table surface actually looks like, after which I had the texture generated. A complete deck of cards was created, 52 cards in total. After the cards were textured, everything was exported and imported into Unreal Engine. Next I worked on the Wheel of Fortune. I created a cylinder to serve as the base for the wheel and its mounting. I decided on 12 segments, so the cylinder needed to have 12 sides. I assigned the mesh and determined the placement of the segments. Then I generate the texture, opting for 6 losing and 6 winning space. Finally I added an arrow, so the player can see exactly where the winning space is located. The wheel is now fully modeled. Now we are moving on the roulette table. As the name suggests, it's about a table. Tables have legs.
What?
So I'm creating 6 legs. After adding the tabletop, I modeled the roulette wheel. First I created a hollow. Then I added the necessary fields, 0 through 36, as well as the sections for 1 to 18, 90 to 36, black, red and so on. I've created the center of the wheel. For the roulette wheel, I also added the grid where the slots will eventually go. At the table, I identified all the individual components and assigned names to all the materials. I used the template for a real roulette table and generate the texture. There's one more thing. Though I built a cannon design to shoot the ball into the wheel at the end. A classic slot machine has a total of 9 slots, so I built it based on that. However, I overlooked one thing. To make the slot slide smoothly into view, I need 15 slots specifically, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Once I was satisfied with the appearance, I assigned a total of 50 materials to the screen. After that, I downloaded icons and distributed these icons across the fields. And the AI made this out of it. It worked on the second attempt and we'll see what the animation looks like in the final part, when we cover the functionality. First I created 5 bars, then a base. With the 5 rails, I then have your lanes where the horses can run their race. I've added a button for each lane to trigger the horses. Then I raised the entire object even higher so that it's at a playable height. I copied the horse and positioned it in the respective lanes. The mesh is now fully modeled, now the individual components have been reassigned. A black and white grid intended to suggest the target has been added. I imported everything into Unreal Engine, all the meshes and textures. Then I sent my existing skills to Claude, described exactly where a 1D transition and 1D rotation were needed. My prompt also instructed the AI to examine my Blender scene closely, where I demonstrate how far each button should be pressed and along which axis. I set the winning probabilities myself, making sure, of course, that the house always wins to keep it realistic. Stay away from gambling. Then I left the power to Fable 5, and for me it was just a matter of waiting. The AI has packed all the casino games into separate actors, along with their associated cameras.
Hello, Lama from Barcode here. Steensman told me I have to test the casino he made, so let's test it. I like the building, but I guess that's a casino. It's open air casino. Cool idea. So, but let's get into here. I have no money. Let's fix that real quick. Okay, we've got some budget now. What's the limit is 10? Wait, that makes no sense. What? Okay, 1000 is the limit, I guess. So let's bet. How the fuck does that work? Okay, so I made my bet. 100. That's upside down. Doesn't matter. Okay, we've got 11. Here's an 8. So let's hit that. 13. 21. Hell nah. Let's hit on that 6, 7, and I busted. Fuck. So let's continue with El Clasico. I have to get very close to the slot machine, and I can just pull the lever. Okay. I already know the slot machine, it's pretty straightforward. Let's grind until we get a big win, so we've got this cool animation I think is implemented. Peak gameplay. I mean, I guess it would be more fun if I was actually worried about the money and I would have to my employees from that. I don't really care about the cheated money, so... okay, so let's do some roulette. 1000 on green. That one, 2 to 3, that does not make any sense. First, that makes sense, I guess, and some on red. I don't know if I made profit. I think I made some profit. Okay, the limit is 5k. Everything on red. But that's cool, I like that. Could be a little bit more... I think, isn't in roulette the middle thing, isn't that turning as well? Like, that turns in the opposite direction of the ball. And I would like to see that, not gonna lie. Oh, I won. Odd numbers. Spin. Please give me an odd number. And that looks a little bit weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I can see the vibe code. But roulette is working. The interface is a little bit wrong here. What happens to the best? Still like it, it's very cool. I like how the number is pressing down. But that should be a little bit more readable. And the interface down here is weird. Yeah, but it works. Okay, so let's try out the spin thing. I can't really read it. I don't know if that's because we're outdoors or it just looks weird. But let's do... How does it work? Ah, okay, I have to actually turn it. And then... What is he doing there? Okay, I halved my money. That's not good. And I would like, if I take it that it actually spins with where I turn my mouse, that would be a little bit cooler. But I can't really win anything. Okay, so that's that. The only critique I had was that it's not really looking like I am actually spinning it. And we lost again. Okay, fuck that. Okay, now the horse race. So we're going to take the blue horse for the Baku color. And now they're going. No, run! Okay, he's... Oh my god! No! The red one won. Okay, so let's do the blue one again. And the red one won again. Is the red one the fastest horse? I think so. The red one is winning again. Or is the blue one is running? The blue horse won. Yeah, it's cool, but again, the UI is a little bit in the way. But it's looking cool. Needs some more polishing, but for the prototype of the casino, it works. I would like some chairs, some dealers would be good as well. Someone who turns the roulette wheel. Wait. And I don't think that's supposed to look like that. Some normals were flipped here. But it looks cool. I like it. Needs some polishing as said, but yeah. Back to Steensman.
So as you can probably see, there's still quite a bit of work to be done on the casino, but the foundation is already in place. I'd really appreciate a like, and if you have any other ideas for the casino, feel free to leave them in the comments. Bye.